I am a Hi. I am Vivian, a nurse epidemiologist, infection control nurse, infection preventionist. Um, so there are a lot of things that are mandatory in our world. And I have been watching the news, as are a lot of you, and in the absence of questions on my channel, I am just looking at the news and stuff like that. I really want to stay away from COVID, but this is actually going into a lot of general conversation that is super relevant to infection prevention in general. So if you're wondering what that horrible noise is, there are there's a toilet in this hotel room. If you don't know, I am on a traveling infection control assignment in New York City. And when I'm on these traveling assignments, I live in a hotel. And as ritzy as the assignment might be, as the hotel might be, I have to deal with this annoying noise. And so the question that is put before me is, today is September 27th, and this is the first day that people who have not taken their COVID vaccine, teachers, federal workers, especially healthcare workers and teachers, people who work for the school system, have to have at least one dose of their COVID vaccine. And I saw a news report today, and they said the people who have not taken their vaccine are people who say that they're not anti-vaccine, they're just anti-mandate. That noise is now gone. It's gonna come back, don't worry. There it is. So I'm dealing with this noise, and in 10 seconds, I'm probably going to call after this video, I'll call the front desk, but I've literally sat here and listened to this noise for some time. And there are things, there are things that I definitely learned from my dad that, if it's not this, it'll be something else. I mean, there are definitely things that you like rage against the machine and say like, hey, stop that. You know what I mean? But there are things that you definitely just have to deal with. and I'm not a big fan of getting older. 33 years old right now. It's not going anywhere. It's only going up. Only going up. I'm not a huge fan of gravity. Only weighing more. I can do something a little bit about that, but I can't do anything about gravity itself. The Earth is going to keep doing what it's doing, according to my one physics class. It's really funny because I was looking up cases of people who were sued. So imagine there's three scenarios that if you are unvaccinated, if a child, let's say, is unvaccinated, and they get very ill from the vaccine they didn't get, the government, the state, can sue that parent for not getting that kid vaccinated. And so that's like super huge that you didn't take that child's case into consideration, thinking like, or medical quality. So imagine not just vaccination, but if there was a cure for that disease, or a way for that child to have a medical, a good quality of life. For example, if the child has HIV and you don't want to give the child HIV medication, the kid could have a long life if you just give them one pill, and you don't want to give that kid one pill and they get very sick from HIV/AIDS complications. That could be a very detrimental situation. And so there have been lawsuits for those issues. And so that's case number one. Or imagine that you split custody of a child, or you're an adult who has or is unvaccinated. In the case of New York, that you have a child that is unvaccinated and you don't want to get the child vaccinated, and the other parent does want to get the child vaccinated. Again, the court might share favor with the person who does want to get the child vaccinated, if the threat is imminent, you know what I mean, or near danger. The court will say, hey, like, this is not something to be played around with. You really need to get the child vaccinated with this condition, for this condition. Or let's say, like, you want the father, let's say, because I'm a woman, I want to get the child vaccinated against smallpox. Well, smallpox is eradicated. It's kind of silly right now to get the child vaccinated against smallpox, seeing how we got rid of it. So that would be kind of frivolous lawsuit, and so they would probably get rid of it. Or an adult who did not get vaccinated against the flu, the middle ground for a healthcare facility would be to get to wear a mask during flu season if you worked in a high-risk situation in flu season, for example, a nurse. The third that I was actually quite interested in is, imagine me, this in this day and age, is if I, who have been fully vaccinated against everything, and I get checked at every job that I go to. Imagine me having been vaccinated. I've gotten Tdap, MMR, chickenpox. I actually had the disease, and I get my titers checked to make sure that I'm up to the threshold, and Hep B and all of that stuff. What if I said, oh my goodness, I can't believe I was vaccinated against those things. I can't believe I got those vaccines if I did not believe in those things. Now, mind you, I was a baby. So, against my will, because I was a baby, which I'm like looking up all of these things, against my will, I was vaccinated against these things. And so, as an adult, I sue my parents. Imagine, forget the mandatory vaccine for school. What if my parents homeschooled me? So there was no mandate to vaccinate me. Forget about flu season because I didn't need to be vaccinated. What if my parents independently made that choice and they decided, hey, I want my kid vaccinated. And they signed the papers, I was vaccinated, and they made that choice. So I decided to sue my parents and say, I did not want to be vaccinated. That was a stupid choice. You vaccinated me, and I did not want to be vaccinated. And there was no forethought. I was not high risk. I didn't need to. There was no measles, mumps, rubella, or anything coming through they imposed their ideas onto me, and I didn't want that. There are a lot of ideas imposed onto me by my parents that I don't want as an adult, imagine. And now as an adult, I don't want it. Now, I'm sitting here September 27th, and there are healthcare workers not working. There are teachers that are not working. Remember, these are also healthcare workers and teachers, like education professionals, including school bus drivers. I mean, we are out of school bus drivers. These are people that, like, we need our jobs, that are not working, and they have been vaccinated with all those other things and do not want their COVID vaccine, can't get their COVID vaccine. Remember, there is still a medical means to not get the vaccine. So if their doctor, any doctor, can get can write a note saying that they are medically exempt, just like all of those other vaccines. If they are exempt from this vaccine, they cannot get it. They can still work. They can wear their mask and they can test every single week, just like we've been doing. But that means they do not have a medical exemption. At this point, I'm guessing that there is no philosophical, meaning there is no religious or philosophical reason that they can't get the vaccine. I've also done some research that there is also no major religion, and I implore you to look through your major religions, because at this point I have looked through their major religions and I don't see a reason why the major religions don't have no basis for not getting a vaccine. But vaccination by itself that I have looked into is quite new. It looks as if it is in the 300s of years old. And so I can imagine that the major religions wouldn't mention the idea of such a scientific innovation. But please correct me if I'm wrong. Like I said, there are a lots of things that we have to deal with. I gave silly examples earlier. I gave 3 scenarios where things happen to us and we have to deal with the consequences of the world around us. But I mean, the world around us is still a mandatory kind of it's still something we have to deal with too. And so just honestly, just like gravity, showers, and work, and all of these things that we have to deal with, and that horrible noise in the bathroom, you do have to sit in it. And as much as I have cried because I can't find a bicycle for my niece and nephew, things that you can't just do, things that are just not normal, things that you just want to jump over, things that you just want to move on from. My mom's church hasn't met. This is a family that is connected by the blood of Jesus, has not met, and they're still a family, even if they haven't been together in a group setting in that sense. But everything has changed so much, and yet vaccines haven't. You don't have to believe in them to work. This is, I don't have to believe in my mom for her to work. She still works. I don't have to believe in my dad for him to work. He still works. I don't know. I don't believe in that toilet for it to work. It still works. And I swear I'm going to call I'm on the 12th floor. I mean, what could happen? I don't know. Anyway, Vivian, infection control and infection preventionist, nurse epidemiologist. Ask your questions. I'll try to answer. Let me know.